scored 300 million individuals, so we have gathered an enormous amount of data, and it's a very exciting space, both for individuals and I think for brands. So it's nice to be here.
Hi, Jason Wellcome. I work at Shandwick, communications and PR firm. I'm actually head of our digital group here in New York. So I get the chance to work with a lot of multinational Fortune 500 companies like Unilever, PepsiCo, Samsung, and help them sort of get conversant in the social space, but also sort of scale their operations to sort of show the return on social media marketing.
Hey guys, my name is Rubin. I'm the Chief Social Marketing Officer of Collective Bias, and I'm the social media strategist for Mars Advertising. Been around the space since '97, started out with Seth Godin at his company Yoyodyne, which was acquired by Yahoo, and that was kind of an interesting ride back in the early days. So I've been around the digital space for a long time, have my own opinions about influence, relationships, engagement, and how to establish that and make it valuable to you.
Hey guys, I'm Papadimitriou. As did you want to see the movie Thank You for Smoking? Yeah, so that used to be me before, so I know a lot about influence, that kind of influence. Now I'm a Vice President and Principal Analyst for Constellation Research. We do research. I focus myself on innovation, mobile and social technologies.
Cool. All right, so just as a kind of kick-off with a reasonably weighty topic, obviously social reputation, that is things like Klout score. It's also what's on your Facebook page or what people are saying about you. How is that challenging kind of real brand identity, not just brand online, but just your brand as a company for your customers? And what effect is it having? Is it having a real effect already? Is it going to have a real effect? What's your opinion on how important it is to businesses?
It's changing things dramatically. We started running campaigns in which brands like Nike and Pepsi and all the studios and just a lot of big brands want to have a huge appetite to engage with people around their passions, and we allow them to do that. And so that's essentially a campaign to us in which the person themselves really feels in control. And so there's a huge shift, and we're now running lots of these campaigns that I think some of you know, in which your influence actually matters in a huge way. And so we do things like, if they're launching the new electric car from Chevy Bolt, then we actually give you the car, and we drop it off at your house for a week, and you take the car, and we do that with 1,400 people, and that's a very different feeling for the brand, as opposed to what they normally do. So it's a very exciting sort of development.
I think the most important thing we just get out of that is that Klout is a marketing firm. Let's not forget that, okay? Too many of us look at them, and I think most of the world views Klout as a measurement company. They're not. They're establishing a basis of measurement to benefit basically themselves and companies so that they can figure out who they want to work with. So really deep down, they're a measurement firm. And just to go to the question that was asked, engagement has become, I don't know if it's so much the brands wanting to do it as the brands needing to do it now. I think a lot are really resisting. What they're calling engagement isn't true engagement. It's still broadcasting, but it's on their own terms. There are companies that have certainly gone way beyond that and are starting to get it, but I think we're a long way from all companies truly embracing what this whole new environment means to them.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's media. What Ted just said is, they have no choice. I mean, brands just have no choice. If you look at what happened, I'm going to take a negative example. If you look at what happened in the 1980s with Coca-Cola released New Coke, that was also like a major brand disaster. But there was no one to actually come back to them. The users, the consumers, were not directly in touch with the brand. They obviously had some negative feedback, but he went through like the traditional channels like press, print media, and television, which were like basically gateway. Whereas now, I mean, you've seen the examples. I mean, it's all well known, from Nestle to all these other negative catastrophes for brand engagement, where people actually reacted very quickly. So brands just do not have a choice. It's the same thing for, and they should actually work on the positive spin in this.
I I mean, I can echo the point of, I think the biggest challenge for a lot of brands and companies when it comes to reputation is the speed and fluidity of which it plays out in so many different channels. So we conducted some recent research with Forbes, and the insights were that everyone across the board in these companies across 50 countries and 1,800 communication marketing executives, they said that this is fundamental to the reputation moving forward, but that only 16% of those people felt that they were world-class. So I think clearly across the board, it's universally accepted that social and social communications are fundamental, but are they getting it? How are they doing it? It's still lagging behind that. And like you said, there's companies out there that now the speed at which it happens, even new media companies like Netflix, that they are a next generation new media company, and yet they're not immune to these sort of issues as well.
Just a quick, speed, so velocity, and spread, and reach. This is going much faster. Again, New Coke, same example, but there was not that velocity and reach. I think this is just what's happening, and brands have no choice but to adapt.
Some of their biggest challenge, obviously, is working through the minefield of their legal departments. And I think a lot of us can really notice very quickly when marketing's running a social presence or when the legal department's running a social presence. And when the legal department's running it, it's disaster time. And the scary part is their job is to protect the company, but in the end, what they're doing is they're killing.
So the old PR model is, I think, coming up against this new model, and we feel that every day. Focusing on celebrities and events and things like that, kind of this old school PR model, and then the ability now to actually reach to sort of, the fear is that we can just press a button and find those people. So I think it's not quite that simple, but when you have a company like Nike, who is searching by hand essentially. Which every company that we work with is essentially doing. Searching profiles, Twitter, Facebook profiles, looking, conversations. Everybody has like 9 dashboards now. So they're kind of doing this thing by hand, searching for, let's say, basketball influencers. The ability that we have created is to, find 10,000 of those people in 10 seconds. And now you have a kid, and I don't even think this person existed a year ago, in Ohio, who has 50,000 people following him on one college basketball team that Nike does not know exists. And I think that is a scary thing, but also a very exciting thing.
Yeah, and I think to add to that point, it's not only about having measurement tools that accurately assess sort of influence and bring that out, but also not only having a presence, but being present and understanding that community that you're trying to engage with. So listening more than you talk is critical to that. So you're not always going to be able to use the tools to tap in, hey, I want the most influential person in my space. You got to be present there to understand that.
So I think there's kind of 2 slightly different strands here about social reputation. One of which is the social reputation of your business and the kind of danger of people like Netflix or Nestle where something very bad happens. And then there's also looking for people who have a high social reputation in order to influence them. The kind of influencer marketing. They're kind of 2 slightly different things. So if we just go on to their kind of influencer marketing, do you think does that always apply? Should all companies be doing influencer marketing as their main thing? Does it only apply in certain situations? Could it even be damaging in certain situations, or will people be upset by it? When should that apply? When should it be used, and when shouldn't it? I'm sure Garth will argue that it should always be used.
Well, I think it should be used 90% of the time. When you have a terrible movie, and a lot of people come to us with that, you actually shouldn't do that, right? That would not be a good idea. And so we don't do campaigns around things that look, really awful, because it'll ruin their movie essentially. So they'll have the opposite effect. And I think there's certain cases where you have to be careful. But in general, I think you can. What we're creating is an authentic conversation that did not really exist. So the blogger thing, the blogger outreach programs to us seemed very tired and just not, just tired. It just did not seem to be authentic. These people that we reach out to, have never been approached for anything, essentially, before. And so what you get is some of the damage you have to sort of accept. If they don't like Starbucks and they're a Starbucks hater, then they're going to be a Starbucks hater, right? And they're going to say that, they're going to voice that. If they don't like the car, if they don't like the thing, that in itself is a very exciting thing that the brand sort of has to live with. But again, that's just embracing social, right? So I believe it should be a layer of influence marketing on every marketing that you do, including, you know, all digital, all old media, all events, etc. I think it should be a layer on top of everything.
I'm going to tee you up on this one, I think, because there's something about influencer marketing in the sense of it seems like another broadcast channel versus the idea of building relationships and then having those relationships to be able to go back and add equal value, so give and take, quid pro quo. And I think that is fundamental and critical in that idea of presence and being present. So
I think when you're making a marketing plan, there should be a lot of pieces to it. So influence should certainly be a percentage. How big a percentage? I think that depends on what you're marketing, when you're marketing it, and who you're marketing it to. I do want to address one particular topic. In my humble opinion, I think bloggers are the power of social media. I think Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, they're platforms. Okay, and influencers, bloggers are the influencers. They're the new celebrities. And they're going to be creating content again and again and again. They're going to continue to grow. The democratization of content has gotten so vast that area of influence, to me, is just going to get bigger and bigger. And bloggers build true relationships with their audience. Very different than what you call an influencer or a celebrity, if you want to call them along the same way. Another point being that bloggers, you say it's old because there are certainly a percentage of bloggers that pimp themselves out like anybody, whether it be influencers or be celebrities. But there's also, those people tend to be found out by their audiences. And if they're not authentic, then they can lose their value there. But to me, again, bloggers are the power. These are the people you want to reach out to. And then there's also the basic advocacy model, which aren't necessarily influencers. Everybody in this room has the power to be an advocate. And everybody in this room has friends, has family, has people they speak to, has nodes in their network, has a social graph. And advocates, in general, will pass along something because they like it, not because they're being paid for it. So if you address them correctly, that's something that's really, really important, is to focus on the advocacy thing. And in that realm, a score, an evaluation has absolutely no relevance.
The old lobbyist in me will say, you know, keep your friends close and your enemies dearer. So you said, Garth, 90%. I think he's actually 100%. Even those, you have to know those guys who hate you, actually, if you're a brand. You can actually reach out to them. It's true that, you know, many people come and say, oh, you know, we have like a lot of negative comments in our blogs. And I say, you know what, usually it's 80-20. You only have 20% of negative comments and 80% of positive ones. So those negative ones, you can actually work them around. Again, obviously. I agree with Ted. I think bloggers are still very important, are still very influential. Whether influential marketing should be part of the mix, I think yes, but it's just a mix. It shouldn't be like your main focus. It should be part of the entire mix. Broadcast, engagement. You just said about, you know, we should build relationships. Yeah, but it's very hard to talk to a billion people at the same time. I mean, it's easy to say building relationships, engaging and making conversation. All of these are very easy to say. Now, actually building, if you're, who has like, I don't know, lots of airline miles, loyalty miles here? Yeah, okay, so you treat differently. This model didn't wait for online media to come up. I mean, it was, if you're Madonna and you enter a restaurant, obviously she will be treated differently than the regular guy. If you're like me and you have like millions of miles on airline loyalty miles, obviously I'm treated differently when I enter an airline. So this is just the same model applied, because you cannot deal with everyone. It's not, brands cannot afford to actually talk to a million people the same way. And because these million people will not feel respected if they just, this will mean broadcast. So I think influence marketing is actually key, but just part of the mix.
Can I just ask that?